Minogigzab, Charmaine McCraw Nadishnakaz, Migazi Dodam. And it Bitagon in Ishtabek and Doji, Kermad and Dojba. Hello and good morning. My name is Charmaine McCraw, and I'm very happy to be here with you this morning. This morning I introduced myself in the Ojibwe language so that my ancestors can hear me, something I'm learning, something I'm changing, something I'm doing different. I'm from the Eagle clan, and my Ojibwe roots come from Bitagon and Nishnabek, which is Pick River First Nation. And like some of you here, I have Irish roots as well. My mother and father raised me in Kermad, Ontario, where I was lucky enough to grow up learning from the land, learning from the animals and my family. And I was really, truly blessed with two parents that gave me the confidence that I could do anything I want to do. And look at me, I'm here today. Growing up, I can remember traveling 4 hours in a car, coming into the city of Thunder Bay and approaching the city and seeing the big lights and being so excited to see what adventures the weekend would bring. I remember being amazed by the people, places, sounds of the city, and thought how lucky people were to live here. The Sleeping Giant, Animkiwaju, Lake Superior, there was so much power here. I have special stories of connection and identity with each of those places and spirits, but we definitely don't have time for all those stories today. I have always felt that it was important to listen and to see things from different perspectives. And as a two-spirit woman, I feel like it's been my life's work to really bridge understanding and learning, to build capacity and confidence in people to see their own potential, and to use my written word and my voice for good. Those have been the themes of the work that I do and I'll continue to do until it's my time to head through that western door. I look out at all of you here today, and I just want to take a moment to honor why you are all here and say miigwech, thank you. You are all here because you want to contribute, collaborate, and take action to make change in our city. So what is change? The dictionary gives us a couple definitions, including the change in our pocket, but that's not what we're talking about today. There's the verb form of change, which is to make someone or something different, and then there's the noun form of change, which is the act or the instance of change, or becoming different. Sounds simple, right? But as I am sure many of you here would agree, it isn't, and it's not just one act, it's many. I mean, there wouldn't be professionals, organizations, and courses designed in change management if it was easy. And we wouldn't all be sitting here together if it was easily done. I was reading the Bitagon Current, my First Nations newsletter that they send out every month, and I saw an acronym for change. It was in the context of mental health, but I really thought that it applied to reconciliation, or to change and reconciliation anyways. So let's break it down. So C, choose. You first must choose to acknowledge that change is needed. And by all of us being here today, we're choosing that. Help, for H, help. Find ways to use your voice and your wisdom to help others understand change. A, ask. Ask your friends, ask your family, ask your coworkers, ask your neighbors. What are they doing for change? How are they managing through change? And nurture your self-awareness. Hold space for new things, new people, new ideas, and nurture those things you're discovering. And then get involved. Action is key in results. Like Bruce Lee said, knowing is not enough, we must apply. Willing is not enough, we must do. And then lastly, E, engage. Engage in conversations. And I mean, really engage and really listen to other perspectives, and recognize when your own biases come into play. As I walk through some of my personal knowledge and insights today, I want to acknowledge that it's only one perspective. And in order for change to happen, we need perspectives of everybody. We need to hear everyone's wisdom, because whether we're an academic, whether we're a blue-collar, a white-collar worker, whether we're a person that's living on the street or a person that chooses to live with the land, we all have wisdom. And listening to each other's stories and embracing perspectives is how that will happen. As author Richard Wagamese put it, we are a story, all of us. What comes to matter then is the creation of the best possible story we can while we're here. You, me, us, together. When we can do that, we take the time to share those stories with each other, we get bigger inside. We recognize our kinship, we see each other. We change the world one story at a time. One of the biggest challenges of our society today is this notion of reconciliation. We talk about it a lot, organizations are working towards it. Our country put together a commission on truth and reconciliation. Consultants are out there making huge dollars helping people try to figure it out. But what is it exactly? Let's refer back to the dictionary. It's the restoration of friendly relations. or the action of making one belief or view compatible with another. Sounds easy enough. But how do we do this when we have this thing called racism in our world? Racism, both individual and systemic, is an issue in Canada and the world abroad, and it has hurt many people and continues to do so to this day. I have to take a moment and giggle, though, because my granny would always say, just leave them, my girl. Worry about yourself. Focus on what you do and be kind. I smile and I feel that in my spirit, but there's a lot of work to do because it's continuing to happen. I've facilitated sessions, workshops, and conversations and created safe spaces for people to ask questions without the fear of being called a racist, without the fear of being called silly or made to feel wrong for asking their questions. I call them Reconciliation 101, the politically incorrect sessions. We need to hold space for all the questions, the silly ones, the ignorant ones, the biased ones, because I truly believe we cannot learn if we cannot ask, and we will not ask if we are in fear. This goes for both sides of the coin, per se, Indigenous and non-Indigenous alike. Some of you may know I'm the vice chair for the Thunder Bay Public Library, and I was recently at the Ontario Library Super Conference, and there was a lot of talk about how do we make reconciliation happen. And she said, we want to work on reconciliation, but we have nowhere to start. We don't know where to start, and we need help. And I smiled and I said, well, that's the first step. So I suggested to the individuals 4 things. Number 1, educate yourself. There are many reports, online courses, books about the Anishinaabe, the original people, and the historical timeline of what happened. One thing I see way too often is organizations hiring Indigenous relations coordinators or similar and relying on them to teach an entire organization or to speak on behalf of all Indigenous people. It is not their job to teach you. It is your job to learn. I have people close to me who have and are experiencing this. They're burning out, their cups are empty, and it's not fair, they're hurting. So I want you to think, before you even think of asking an Indigenous person anything about history or what happened, make sure you do your own research first. And remember that due to colonialism, many Anishinaabe people are just figuring out and beginning to learn about the history themselves, and only beginning to understand the unjust policies and actions that have caused many of the circumstances and barriers they face today. Secondly, acknowledge your own unconscious bias. We all have unconscious bias. Unconscious bias refers to those automatic, often unintentional judgments and stereotypes we make about others based on their culture, race, background, sometimes even gender. When it comes to Indigenous people, unconscious bias can lead to assumptions or prejudices and affect how they're treated and understood. For example, people might unknowingly associate Indigenous individuals with negative stereotypes or overlook their contributions, cultures, or their rights. This bias has influenced decisions in areas like healthcare, our education, the justice system, and it continues to contribute to inequity and unequal treatment today. Indigenous people also have unconscious bias towards white settlers and can lead to assumptions and stereotypes that affect how they view or interact with white people. Indigenous people might unconsciously associate white settlers with negative historical impacts such as colonization, such as suppression of culture. This bias influences how they perceive the intentions, the actions, and the authority of white people in various settings like our workforce, our education, our government. These biases, even though they're unintentional, can still shape perceptions and create tension and mistrust. So I'm sure many of you are sitting there saying, I'm not a racist. I'm not biased. I want you to just know that unconscious bias is a natural function of our brain. It's how we process information. So we need to retrain our brains, and that is not an easy task. Third, cultural competency. We hear a lot about cultural awareness, cultural sensitivity, cultural safety. All of these courses are very valuable, and I suggest you look into them. But I want to challenge all of you to work on your cultural competency. This is the ability to understand, respect, and effectively interact with people from different backgrounds. It involves being aware of your own biases, your own norms, and your own values, and recognizing how this influences the interactions between one another. Not everybody's normal is the same. Cultural competency also means adapting your behavior and your communication style to engage in respectful and inclusive ways. And as much as I believe and I know there needs to be an emphasis and directive to enhance your Indigenous cultural competency, as we see the demographics of our country, of our city, of our communities changing, I think cultural competency is truly the key to learning empathy and achieving true reconciliation. Now, once you have done all of that base work, you've now built or rebuilt your foundation. The fourth step to getting started is to find experiential learning activities. Sheila this morning talked about the blanket exercise. Very amazing exercise. Do it if you can. Immerse yourself and experience new things. Try new cuisines. Listen to the languages, even if you don't understand them, and practice being kind. Seek out opportunities to learn from knowledge keepers. Call yourself a knowledge seeker. Just one thing, though, I promise you. When you're starting your journey, the elders will tease you. But in Ojibwe culture, this is a sign that they like you. So where does change begin and end? I just shared 4 steps with you, but reconciliation is not a checkbox. It's a continuous learning journey. I was recently at a conference this week in Thompson, Manitoba, and there was a speaker there that talked about change in small steps. Change 1 degree of change at a time. So create a framework, achieve the goals and objectives, and continually add degrees of change. Native American author Louise Erdrich said, "Things that do not grow and change are dead things." I challenge you to keep your professional and your personal reconciliation journeys alive. Change is most possible within a community, and in a community we're all connected. Interconnection is a key part of how Anishinaabe people see the world. The phrase and the picture, "all my relations," captures this idea. It is a belief that everything is connected, people, animals, water. It is a reminder that everything has a purpose and deserves respect and care. Everybody has a place in the bigger picture of life. We all have wisdom that we can contribute to a society, a city that shines bright and as full as our grandmother moon. It is important to set goals and important to set a framework to achieve those goals. For me, those goals are guided by the 7 sacred teachings: love, courage, truth, respect, humility, wisdom. Many of us here work in a world of memorandums of understanding and frameworks and outcomes and timelines. But we must take the time to remember that all of these things need to be guided by a mutual understanding and a desire to achieve. I encourage you, like Sheila said this morning, to learn about the 7 sacred teachings and use these Indigenous values, these ancient values, to address modern issues in your communities, workplaces, and especially in your relations with Indigenous people and nations. Capacity development and partnerships. These are popular phrases used in reconciliation dialogue. And while it's true, I strongly suggest to all of you to measure your endeavors against the 7 sacred teachings. Are you demonstrating humility, or are you coming to the table with all the answers already? Are you being honest with your intentions, or are they hidden in the fine print? Is the love for your partnership unconditional, or is it conditional on them doing what you want? Change requires us to be brave, to show courage. So just coming here today, you're already embracing Indigenous values. My granny would say, "Ever good." Recognition of these values in your workplaces, your homes, your communities is important. Celebrate the small steps, the 1 degrees of change. Encourage team members to learn and show love and care and compassion for each other. Structure your joint ventures to be meaningful and not just financially motivated. If we don't do these things, we're just repeating the past, and we know it doesn't work. It just recreates distrust and tears down all of the good things that we're working on today. Build relationships with Anishinaabe people. Don't just go to them when you need something. Make a promise to yourself that you will break the cycle, that you will try new approaches, that you will recognize your own biases and not be scared to do the work to grow your own awareness. Someone once said to me, "You can say you've changed all you want, but only others can qualify it." In our world of social media, how many of you see companies posting about all of the great work they're doing in reconciliation, inclusion, and diversity? Now think about it. How many of you see First Nations or communities posting about the companies that are doing great work? Not many. Developing those meaningful relationships together from the ground up is the most important, is to establish trust. And well, once we have trust, we have a foundation for success. It's amazing what AI can do when you ask it to. So take a moment, look at this dream catcher behind me. Each node where the sinew is intertwined represents a place of connection. The story of the dream catcher comes from the Ojibwe people, but it's shared by many other cultures as well. The legend goes that there was a wise old woman, often referred to as Spider Woman, and she would take care of the children and the people of the land. As she traveled far and wide, she would create webs to catch and filter out the negative energy in the air, harmful things in the air. She would spin webs and protect the children from bad dreams, keeping them safe at night. Lots of people are scared of spiders. I grew up having to kill them for my mom, but anyways. As people spread across the land, the children became farther and farther away from Wise Woman. And so people started to make dream catchers to hang above their beds. The web of the dream catcher would catch the bad dreams and the negative energy, allowing only the good dreams to pass through the hole in the center and then come down to the person sleeping below. While the meaning of the dream catcher can vary among tribes, it remains an important cultural symbol representing harmony, spirituality, and the connection between all living things. The dream catcher behind me is made of red willow. That's the circular frame on the outside. Doesn't always have to be a perfect circle. Life isn't perfect. This brings me back to the theme of this gathering here today, connecting for change. I believe strongly that we can use our wisdom to share our stories and connect for change. We can emulate the purpose of the dream catcher. Our connections will filter out the bad actions and energy and allow all the good we are doing to filter down to our communities, our children, and our 7 generations to come. I'd like to leave you with some examples from working together from our 4-legged and feathered friends. Lessons from the wolf pack, Mayingan. Wolves work together, each playing a vital role, showing the power of collaboration. Leadership is shared within the pack and based on humility, with the alpha wolf listening to the other wolves and the elders traveling at the front. Wolves demonstrate a strong loyalty to supporting one another through challenges. Trust, clear communication, and adaptability are essential for survival and success. The pack's strength lies within each member contributing to the collective well-being. These lessons emphasize resilience, respecting roles, and working together to achieve common goals and overcome obstacles. Mayingan's been a spirit guide for me for a long time. And then, over to our feathered friends, the geese. Geese fly in a V formation to save energy, showing the power of collaboration again. When a goose falls out of formation, others help it to return, showing the importance of lifting each other. Leadership shifts in the formation to prevent burnout and highlight the importance of shared responsibility. We hear them in the sky. Geese communicate to encourage and keep the group together, emphasizing that need for clear communication. You can hear them from a long ways away. With a shared destination, they show how working together toward a common goal benefits us all. So these lessons from Mayingan, wolf, and Nikag, the geese, highlight the importance of collaboration, leadership, mutual support, and a common purpose, all of which can create stronger, more connected communities. So Chimigwech for your attention today. I hope you took something from what I had to say. I hope you can integrate it into your lives. I look forward to learning from all of you as we connect for change in our beautiful city. In the Ojibwe culture, we don't say goodbye. It's always see you later. So, Gwabaman, Miigwech.